This takes us to the present time and to the generation who will take the torch from the millennials, and with it leave their mark on the financial services industry and society generally. Millennials have made fantastic progress in the digitization of financial services, with a view to including literally billions of people worldwide who were hitherto excluded. Millennials have demonstrated that in business, profit and purpose are not mutually exclusive. Gen Z can build on the work done and take things to a new level, embedding financial services into our daily lives, making payments and purchases essentially frictionless, further increasing access to affordable services, increasing choice and transparency, making for fair and open competition and the democratization of wealth and influence. Opening up financial services, doing business, running companies, running economies with the same ease and indeed essentially the same technology infrastructure that people interact with social media presently. The related concepts of decentralization and democratization are key, and it is through the social engineering and trust built-in technologies of blockchain and consensus that not only the smallest of financial actions and transactions can be facilitated, but the biggest decisions of all, those regarding global sustainability and climate change. And we need this because the top-down approach of government-led initiatives to address climate change and sustainability has really went nowhere. Nowadays we have national governments and world leaders behaving like children, while children behave like leaders. For some time now, we have saw growth in market investments towards environmentally and socially responsible stocks and companies. ESG investment, as it is called, is now a recognised investment theme, and the world's major stock markets now have ESG indices such as the Standard & Poor's or S&P 500 ESG trading on the New York Stock Exchange. It consists of the same companies trading on the conventional S&P 500, but they are scored or rated by ESG signals, predictors of positive sustainability traits. The FTSE also has a range of ESG indices as highlighted here. Going forward, we will increasingly see sustainability considerations being written into the legal constitution of companies, explicitly detailing what they stand for and what actions they are taking to address their own carbon footprint. It is fair to say that the United Kingdom has positioned itself as a world leader in this regard, requiring greater levels of disclosure than others. As investment opportunities become more widely distributed and decentralized, then more and more people can vote through their fintech machines, and companies who don't provide more transparency on this aspect of their activities will find their pool of investors shrinking and getting left behind as a result, because the green is good generation will see to it. Just as millennials had the motive and tools to build a new financial system, you have the motive, and fintech will provide you with the tools to take the power out of the hands of those who have demonstrated they don't deserve it and put it into the hands of people who will use it more constructively. And the sooner the better. 71% of greenhouse gas emissions has come from just 100 companies since 1988, when I was your age. More than half of that comes from just 25 companies, the fossil fuel companies. If the banks changed the way they support these companies, we could settle the climate debate almost overnight, because these companies would either go bust or be forced to behave in a much more responsible manner. But the banks of yesterday, and to a large extent of today, still support them because they are making profit out of it. And for the greed is good generation, the bottom line is the bottom line. But what about the banks of tomorrow? Most kids don't agree with greed is good. I don't agree with it. Greta Thunberg doesn't agree with it. Some decision makers know exactly what they are sacrificing to continue making unimaginable amounts of money. We cannot continue to do that if the planet is to remain safe for you, your children and their children, and so on. Now, thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is that things are happening with technology and finance that is doing good for society and good for planet Earth. These are the cultural values that sit at the core of many of the bright young startups, because they are being started up by Gen Y and Gen Z individuals who want to make a change. Technology can change the world and it can help the planet. Fintechs are reaching parts of the world that were historically unreachable. There are startups looking at how we can provide financial literacy to children. Mental health issues and financial issues often go hand in hand. Some of these problems can be identified through analysing spending habits, and interventions can take place to provide support so that financial wellness can help mental wellness and vice versa. And there are many startups focusing on financial wellness. Our parents, grandparents, are the most vulnerable in society for criminals and scammers, and we can use fintech to help them. The banks never used to do any of this because it wasn't worth it. There was no money to be made in it. In fact, financial inclusion is one of the biggest growth areas in fintech, where historically it has not been worth banking almost 5 billion or 2/3 of the world's population because it was just not going to make a profit. Yet digital inclusion has the potential to reach every single person on earth if you have a mobile phone, as most of us do. As soon as you have a mobile phone, you can trade, transact, interact, have your voice heard, get opportunity. This has been proven over and over again worldwide. Some excellent examples are illustrated in the next video.